It's an improbable little rock in the North Atlantic that at first blush you might think is a pretty hostile place to actually take root and live a life. But somehow in the taking root and the living of life here, it makes us all more human. It looks unforgiving, but really, like most things in life, if you look a little bit closer, everything you need is here.
And here is Fogo Island, one of the offshore islands of Newfoundland and Labrador on the northeast shore. And that was Zita Cobb, who just so eloquently described the place where she was born and raised. She then went away, made lots of money, and has now returned to build the Fogo Inn and help give back to a community devastated by the collapse of the cod fishery in the early 90s, but which continues to adapt. We'll meet Zita later, but before you think you've tuned into the Travel Channel, don't worry, we're here to drive a vehicle. In fact, Mercedes-Benz Canada thought Fogo Island would be a great place to launch the brand new ML. Sorry, there is no more ML, it's now the GLE SUV, and the one we're driving, the GLE Coupe. I know, it's got 4 doors. All I can say is, those damn Germans. Now, before we begin, full disclosure on my part. I've always said one of the ugliest vehicles on the road today, certainly one of the ugliest BMWs, is the successful, very popular X6. Now look at this GLE Coupe. Do you see some resemblance? I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get behind the wheel and see if we can learn to like each other.
We've renamed a lot of our family to align the nomenclature. We have a lot of new models now, so we're trying to give some sense and some parentage to the lineup too. So our SUV lineup, with the facelift for the M-Class, it became the GLE. So the parent of the family being the G-Class. We have the GL, which will become the GLS next year with its facelift, and the GLE, so that aligns with the E-Class family, using the G as kind of the parent there. And now the natural extension of that is the GLE Coupe, which is the vehicle we're showing here on Fogo Island today. My mom's side of my family is from Newfoundland, kind of split between St. John's and Port aux Basques. This is my first time being here on Fogo Island, and it's spectacular. And we picked the Fogo Island Inn. Obviously, it's a world-renowned hotel that's known throughout the world for its design, and that's why we picked it to show off the GLE Coupe, because it really is all about design and style. We start for the Canadian market, we have the GLE 350 diesel that starts at $72,300. We move up to the GLE 450 AMG that starts at $77,600, and then all the way at the top, the GLE 63S model is $116,500.
I'm not sure who said this, but one of the historians said that most Newfoundlanders regard the land as nothing more than a conveniently anchored ship. And that's what it was, because you needed to be as close to the fishing grounds as you possibly could be and have access to fresh water and maybe a place to grow a few potatoes and a place to bury your dead. That made a perfect place for an outport. And so it's a whole fabric of hundreds and hundreds of little communities clinging to cliffs along this coastline.
Like always with Mercedes-Benz, as much as we talk about the style, the design, the performance of the GLE Coupe, safety is something that we would never compromise. So the full suite of safety equipment here, standard rear view camera, we have crosswind assist, we have our collision prevention assist plus, and a whole suite of everything that you would come to expect on a Mercedes-Benz.
Get inside the GLE and you know you're in a Mercedes. It is first class all the way. And how can you not like a vehicle where you can heat or chill your beverages at the touch of a button? Now, a lot of vehicles today, especially in this segment, they have a family resemblance to each other. It's called the BMW X6. I'm not the first one to remind you that. It does look a bit like it.
No, I mean, we have natural competition in any segment that's out there. So, our goal is to come to market and do something better. And I think with the GLE Coupe, we have a vehicle that looks fantastic, it drives fantastic, and we have a great lineup for Canada too. We have a diesel version of the GLE Coupe that our friends down in the U.S. Won't see in the Mercedes-Benz family. So from there, we go up to the GLE 450 AMG, and then at the top of the line, we have the GLE 63S model.
More car makers are adding gears to the transmissions, and of course one of the big reasons is better fuel economy. Well, right now I'm driving the GLE 450 AMG with the twin turbo V6. I'm in the comfort mode and pushing about $120, but look at that, barely 2,000 RPM, which of course you're consuming less fuel. But now let's put this sucker into my favorite mode, which is the Sport Plus. The result? Higher revs, not as good fuel economy, but listen to that growl. Oh, baby.
You know, fish in Newfoundland means cod. If you mean something other than cod, you don't use the word fish. And that's what our culture is based on. I mean, everything we do is so influenced by that fishing history. It's in our songs and our music and our built heritage, our intangible heritage. It's all about codfish.
I think our execution on this one, very dynamic look, certainly not as polarizing as some of the other things that you see out in the market today. It's a very elegant car. So it's, you know, the question we get is who's going to buy this? Who would buy this that isn't going to buy a regular GLE SUV? And it's somebody that's looking to make a lot more of a design statement. This is really for those kind of people that want something a little more bold looking, something that drives a little bit more dynamically, and something that's a little bit more exciting.
I know I started out a little grumpy because the GLE resembled the X6, but what do I know? The X6 is hugely successful, and you know that Mercedes is going to sell every GLE they can get their hands on. I will say one thing, I think the Mercedes has a little more attitude, not only in the design, but maybe more importantly, in the way it drives. My choice would be the 450 AMG. Plenty of power for everyday driving, and you'll save yourself $40,000 by not buying the 63. There is a 350 diesel. I didn't get to drive it. We'll save that for another show. And we want to thank Zita Cobb and everybody here on Fogo Island for their hospitality. Believe me, you should put this place on your vacation bucket list.